presentation, you said?
Yes, I've got Chris's presentation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry,
In fact, Chris asked me if I would show a short video before he started.
I did. I remember that.
But he
right.
jumped in quickly.
Right. Okay, you're recording just now. That's fine. You've got
Maybe
the
we can,
presentation.
maybe Ian, we can end with that. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
So,
Claudio has another question.
Yeah, is that okay?
yeah, on you go. Yes.
My question was, I know in Scotland especially, bees and butterflies tend to get a lot of airtime, as it were, in terms of being the best pollinators. Do you find that you have to do a lot of education around the other things like the moths and the beetles and the less kind of beautiful pollinators?
Now, if I'm interpreting your question correctly, do I find that there has to be a lot of education about those other pollinators?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, the less charismatic ones, you mean?
Yes, those exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I don't, Claudio, to be honest, I don't have enough experience to be able to address to give you an answer, a definitive answer. But I do agree with you that some of them are less charismatic. And the Lepidoptera, or the butterflies, they are the ones that are particularly interesting to people. And that's why I mentioned the monarch butterfly to you. I was throwing out a charismatic pollinator, but there are plenty of less charismatic pollinators, as you said. Like I mentioned earlier, the male mosquito. Really, Chris? So yeah, you're right. Education is required there.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for your good question.
Thank you. Now, I've
Yes.
got Ray. On you go.
Yeah, please. Hi, Chris. Again, really good chat, really good talk. Just to let you know, one or two things. A lot of us here were from another club, and we were based round about the town of East Kilbride. And East Kilbride, I'm not sure about other small towns, so I can't speak for the other towns round about Scotland, but the council in East Kilbride took it upon themselves recently over the past 2 or 3 years to actually generate what was known as pathways. And what they did was they mixed wild seed with literally compost, etc. And then they had trucks deliver those and spread it along grass pathways. And they just left it. And then over a period of time, over the summer, you've seen all the wild flowers coming. And that was to generate pathways for the insects to go between all the houses and all that. So I know that's been very, very successful, and it's been happening for the past couple of years. And then also in the Scottish farming community, so you're aware, there was legislation put out about, I think it's probably about 20 years ago, maybe even more, where the EU actually paid farmers to reserve some of their land. Right. And what they did was, rather than having lovely rectangular fields, they literally cut the corners off, put radiuses on the corners, and left those fallow so they could grow trees and all that. So they are trying, because I think it is an issue, especially in the UK. Our native bumblebees are disappearing at a very fast rate, and people are concerned. But it's good to see that things are happening here. We're generating small pathways, because it looks absolutely stunning when you see the wildflower. And I know an awful lot of our garden centres where we pick up our plants, a lot of them are now selling packets of wildflower seed that you just literally disperse in a bit of ground, leave it be, make sure you don't cut any grass, and the colour's absolutely stunning. So we are getting there. Slowly, I would say, but we are getting there.
These are all great stories. And I want you to all know that protecting pollinators and educating people about pollinators, it's a very big tent. There is no one organization in charge. Everybody is in charge. And don't underestimate Margaret, the famous anthropologist Margaret Mead's statement where she said, don't underestimate the power of an individual, because your efforts will make a difference. I can't wait to come to Scotland now, Ray, not only to see those islands where Star Wars was filmed, but also to see these pollinator patches in farmers' fields and the pathway. That's wonderful.
It's amazing when you're driving along, like even a main road, and there's maybe just about 4 or 5 foot of grass between a normal pathway for the sidewalk, as you would call it, and the road, and literally they utilize that little bit of grass verge, and they literally sprinkle, because you walk along and go, what is that? And it goes all the way along, and then you realise about a month later, you see all the plants growing up and the wonderful colours. They're absolutely stunning. But that's
Great
what it's
story.
for,
Great
creating
story.
pathways.
I'm going to tell clubs in the United States about that, Ray.
No,
Thank
look it
you.
up. It's really good.
Okay, so thank you, Ray. Now I'm looking at two screens here. So, next question, please. Anybody?
Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Ian. Stephanie.
Followed by Paul, followed by Jim Martin.
Right.
Hi, Chris. That was just such a fabulous introduction to your work and your passion. So thank you ever so much. It's
Thank you, Stephanie.
really, and also I'm really encouraged by the momentum that you're building, by the approach that you've got to kind of community engagement and building. I think it's a really brilliant model that can be adapted for so many different things, you know, not least of all for the pollination stuff. I work in water. I run a social enterprise around water treatment, and one of the things that we've got two of my other colleagues on the line at the moment, and the things that we're really passionate about is exactly as you've discussed, about the environment, about a non-toxic environment. And of course, you know, we talk about it in a water context because, you know, invariably you've got the beautiful ocean in your photo behind you. It all ends up in our oceans, and it has a big impact on our marine life. But one of the things that was in the news just this week, actually, that the UK government has legalised the use of a neonicotinoid that was banned by the EU, and it's been brought back into the UK on an emergency use because, you know, it's for very limited use. But nonetheless, you know, these are neonicotinoids, for anyone who doesn't know. I mean, they're like the key thing that is detrimental to pollinators. I mean, they just absolutely destroy everything. They are very, very nasty chemicals. And I kind of wonder, you know, you've obviously had a huge amount of success in terms of like building awareness and engaging with people, when, you know, some of what you're trying to do is really quite complex. It could be very complex, and actually what you've managed to do is make it quite simple. And I think that is such a fundamental part of your, you know, of your engagement, actually, is how to make a complex story really simple. So yeah, huge amounts of inspiration in what you said. I mean, of course, then you started talking about Yosemite, and I lived in California for a bit, and I loved Yosemite so much. And I think everyone, you want to come to Scotland, but when we can travel, let's all go to California.
Stephanie, your
Thanks,
words
Stephanie.
have been literally music to my ears. And I'm wondering if I can hire you as my PR agent.
Actually, I'm going to
And
get.
also,
Sorry, Chris. I'm going to get Stephanie to speak after yourself, just for like a couple of minutes on what they're doing. I think that might resonate with you as well. Sorry for interrupting you there. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that you are the first person in the thousands of people that I have spoken with, Stephanie, that have recognized the fact that this is a complex issue that has broken down into a very simple project that anybody can do. So thank you for recognizing that.
Okay, thank you. Jim Martin, please.
Thank you, Chris. That's been super. I have got to admit that I am one of these guys that volunteers with one of the local woodlands, the K Woodlands, where we have found that the trees are starting to die off. And in the last year, we've planted some 1,500 in conjunction with one of the local schools. They come out as part of their course, and they've been planting the trees. But as well as that, we've also got the plants, and we've had to get in a beekeeper to borrow their bees for a couple of weeks to pollinate some of the plants that we have. But it was very interesting to hear, to hear what you were saying about the pollinators, and thank you very much for that.
I'm glad it resonated with you. Regarding the beekeepers here in the United States, because we're such a large area, there is actually a bee industry where hive keepers actually load up their hives on trucks and cart them to different parts of the United States, depending on the season and when their plants to be pollinated are ready to be pollinated. So the importance of bees, especially the European honeybee, which cannot be underestimated as a pollinator of agricultural crops. And Stephanie, I wanted to just go back to you 1 minute. If anything I said today helps you resonate, helps you with the water industry, please, this is all free material. Use it, modify it. Just do me a favor, let me know what you did, so then I can justify my existence to my boss.
Right, one final question, Paul, please.
Yes, good evening, Chris. Thank you for the presentation. It was really interesting because I was really hoping to be able to do something for pollination with Rotary, so it's perfect. And you mentioned planting flowers. Do you have any other advice on actions that we could conduct as a club? Have you had any examples that you encountered?
Well, the two easiest ones, I think, Paul, and thank you very much. Is that a French accent I recognize?
Yes, I'm French and I'm in France right now.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Well, spread this to France too.
Definitely, definitely.
That would be wonderful. Yes, first off, Paul, there are numerous websites that you can go to for ideas, but the simplest things you can do are designate like a pollinator patch for pollinator plants. That's the simplest. And I am not a botanist, or an entomologist, so I don't know your plants or insects. I'm sorry, I don't even know the plants or insects here in the United States, let alone Europe. But simple pollinator gardens are good, and you'll see them in many places. Kind of like what Ray was saying, how they've taken some fields and converted the corners or the pathways that they've done. That's really simple. Also, I recommend that engaging youth is a wonderful project that is right in line with the 4-way test of Rotary, and you can do, and you can rally Rotarians around. So those are two simple projects. Well, they're not simple, but those are two projects. Nothing in life is simple, right?
Yeah.
Those are two projects that you can do if you're interested. And please, Paul, reach out to me and continue the conversation. Everyone on this
Thank you.
This call is welcome to do that. Any other questions?
Yes, I missed out Ian Dickey. Ian, my apologies. Sorry, definitely the last question. Sorry.
Just a very quick one, Chris. That was a subject very close to my heart, and it's a quick question. As you know, the honeybees are subjected at the moment to all sorts of mites that are slowly wiping out their populations.
Yes.
Does your organisation have any contact with the would-be curers to put pressure on them to get their finger out and come up with something that would save our bees? Does that make sense?
Again, I'm trying to interpret the question. You're having some parasite problems there, and parasites are one of the 3 top reasons why pollinators are disappearing. The other 2 are habitat loss and pesticides, like Stephanie mentioned, with those terrible neonicotinoids. You're a take action group. Hey, Thomas, I think you, being there in Scotland, you're the one that needs to reach out to your political leaders and as a group. And Rotary, I know we're not supposed to be political, but Rotarians as individuals can certainly, and even as a group, quite frankly, can tell our political leaders what we want and what we do not want in our communities. So I would highly recommend that you address neonicotinoids if you feel like that's something you can address, and also address this mite issue. And I imagine there are entomologists there in Scotland who would give you a much better answer, Thomas, than I can give you. If you were here in the United States, I could certainly refer you to some folks but for Scotland, I'm at a loss. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I know you have it. I know that you all have it within you to make a difference there in Scotland. And in closing the presentation, because I think we've exceeded our time, I just wanted to say that you have been the most fun group that I've spoken to. I speak to a lot of clubs, and I'm not just pulling your leg here. I'm moving to Scotland because if everybody in Scotland is so nice like you are, that'd be a nice place to live. So thank you for giving me the opportunity today, Ian. I really appreciate it. And again, let's not be strangers. If you want to contact me, so thank you.
Thank you.
On that, please, can I ask you all to use the chat facility by putting in your name or your email address, because I think, like for Chris, for Michael, and I've lost it now. Sorry, on the screen. Sorry, my apologies. Look at names here. Sorry, for Marlene. If you could put down your email addresses as well, please, and your names, because it's important that we also connect with you. I'll be coming on to that in a minute or two as well. But Alec Blair, Alec on today from the Hunterston Club. Alec keeps a record for our district. Is that correct, Alec? Of speakers.
Yes, I maintain a speaker list that's published on our website. So, and it contains just a brief summary and contact details for any potential speakers.
So I think it's, if you could, again, I want to use that as well. So please, and even for your own clubs as well, that you like, Edith and that as well, and others, and Colin, get the address, because you might find it'll be a very interesting speaker for your club as well. So having said that, enough from me just now. David, can I ask you to give the vote of thanks, please?
Bill, may I say one last thing?
Of course you can, yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to, again say thank you, and also to recognize my dear friend and colleague Marlene Gargalack, past district governor for Rotary District 5960, for joining us on the call today. Marlene, you continue to serve as my inspiration, and I thank you for being the wind in my sails on Operation Pollination.
Wow. Thanks,
So
Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It was great meeting you.
Well, don't go away yet. There's more to follow.
Okay.
Thank you. David, please.
Okay, thank Chris for an inspirational talk, and Marlene for coming in support. It's been lovely hearing from both of you. If I could say, the SNH document is one that my partner Fiona, not here tonight, used to work for. So I recognize the SNH document you were talking about for the pollinators. It's very, very, very good talk, very inspirational, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Now,